two very powerful words in life, which is sorry and thank you.
Why it is?
Because at any point of situation in life, whether you're happy or the lowest moment in life, these two words can actually help you.
Yeah.
These two words plays a very powerful role in any works that you do in the name of branding reputation. This is the two powerful words that have been often not being used because of being egoistic.
Yeah. Okay.
See, we allow emotions to control us from not using these two words. I think if we know how to use these words, life will bring you to the next level.
Welcome to another episode of Waves of Wisdom. In this episode, I'm going to talk to somebody from Malaysia who is a brand strategist, a well-known speaker on branding. So without further ado, let me welcome to the show Prasath Kanagaras, normally known as PK. Welcome to the show, PK.
It's Prasath Kanagaras.
Prasath Kanagaras.
Kanagaras.
Okay, let's go PK. Yeah, that's easy. Yeah.
Now you know I call myself as PK?
Yes. So how are you doing, PK?
Very good, brother.
Yeah.
Very good. How are you? Yes.
Very good. Welcome to the show, PK.
Thank you for inviting me.
How have you been?
Life cannot be as bad as what people think. It is always good for us.
Good, great. So, PK, just to start with our podcast, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you have come up to where you are now in the world of branding?
I think it's the blessings of God. First and foremost, my strength is marketing and branding. My weakness is I only know marketing and branding. So my humble background started, actually it's a sad story become good. I'm from a very poor background. My father was a taxi man. As much as I was pretty fine in education, but I didn't get what I wanted. And for some reasons, politically, I had a chance to pursue studies internationally, but I still couldn't qualify financially. So after losing all the opportunities, when I was down, and my father, who is a very well-known taxi man, extremely good personality, he found a chance for me to work in an advertising firm because one of my biggest craze is watching advertisements. So when I got a chance to work in this industry, typically being an Indian, a Malaysian Indian too, we all only know that there's only three major profession goes very well for our community, which is doctor, lawyer, and also engineer. So I was opting for the engineering role because I don't want to be a doctor because I hate killing rats, right? So when this started, I saw an opportunity, and my dad put me to a company to work as a sales rep, and that's how the whole thing started. And I eventually grew up ladder after ladder, ladder by ladder, and I eventually became a marketeer, and from there I became a trainer, and thereafter I'm now a speaker as well.
Yeah. Apart from your father putting you in this particular role as maybe as an intern at the start, from when you realize you really have a passion for this?
Always, as I said, I think one of the best things that I love to watch in TV is advertisements. I enjoy watching advertisements. If you really see in my drive, I have almost about approximately more than 3,000 different ads downloaded just for my references sake. So I always been a person.
So you watch more advertisements than movies.
And I tell you, I frequently fly to India once upon a time, and I spend at least one day extra staying in the room, not going anywhere, but just watch their beautiful creative ads. That is one of my biggest inspirations.
So you place your piece in it, right? So since you have so many ads, is there one particular ad which really highlights, which really resonates with? If somebody says, okay, out of all the ads, what is that one ad you can always remember?
Brother, it's a easy and tough question.
Yeah.
Tough questions. Which is the best ad that always been something that you're amazed about? I can't give you an answer because we seem to be so many is coming in, and every single time I see amazing ideas. But one ad that changed my life, and I'm always thankful and connected to, I would say the Indian Airlines, one of the ad. I will show you the videos later. It's an ad where the captain, or rather the old man, will be sitting beside a young girl. And because before the flight takes off, he wouldn't know how to even buckle up his seats and stuff. And this girl will keep assisting him. She'll be like putting up so much of frustrations, expressions. You don't even know this. You don't even know this. And a moment later, the girl will be sleeping on his shoulder, and the stewardess will come. Captain, we are ready to take off. Is there anything that you need? A blanket. So they'll give a blanket for the girl to sleep. And he was the captain of the ship, of the plane. He was the pilot.
Okay.
So that's how the ad ends, and it's Indian Airlines. And that was one of my most favorite nostalgic ad that actually made me to be very interested to create things like that.
So
So thanks to Indian Airlines.
yeah, that is quite profound, right? The message there is, and yeah, so even I get very what to say, like inspired by sometimes ads which doesn't have really explicitly saying the message, but rather it is implied, right?
Yes, yes. And I think speaking about it, yes, one of my very favorite legend, I would say, proud to say that she is a Malaysian. She was in Malaysia. Her name is Yasmin Ahmad.
Yeah.
If you ask any Malaysians in Malaysia, you will see the way how they have ads from this brand called Petronas. The emotional ads. I think the way how she brought in emotions and show festive advertising powerful is another big inspiration. So yes, advertisements or other marketing content through advertisements is a killer. It can change the world if you want.
Yeah. So so from then you have been ever working in this industry.
I've always been in the industry. The
Mm.
genius thing I did was I never left. I never left industry, but I changed my profession. So from a salesman, I became a business manager. I became brand manager. I eventually became a person that works in an agency, international agencies. I became an advertising and brand planner, and therefore I eventually started my own business. I started as a media planner. I eventually became a brand planner. I became a brand consultant, and from there I became a brand strategist.
Yeah.
And then, of course, so whatever the ladder that I go up, is only one ladder, which is the brand and marketing ladder. So that's the thing,
Wonderful,
yeah.
wonderful. I think before further we go, I think our viewers will be looking at this. Maybe ever choose the harder right instead of the easier wrong. What do you mean by this?
Okay, this is something that a favorite quote that I've heard before, which I always practice, because it's easier to say something to walk out, and it's not easy to say something to stand firm. And sometimes you got to take the bad cop roles to get things done. And I believe that leaders today in any businesses are the leaders. There are two types of leaders. One, leaders are taking a risk with the expense of a company, I mean employees.
Yeah.
Another type of leaders, they take huge risk at the expense of themselves. And these are the people always have the tendency of taking up the bad cop role, right? And I feel these are the things that they should always remember. Sometimes you got to tell the truth, which may not be pleasing and beautiful and sweet for the betterment of the actual outcome.
Yeah.
But many people rather want to walk out by not getting into the risk because don't want to be seen as wrong person. And this role is not a rule. I think you're easily will seeing it in the recent elections going on and everything. Some great political leaders are trying to fight for this. So I believe this is something that very, very close to my heart, and that's what I practice at my work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, it's another way is doing the right thing might be harder than I mean, it's easier to give up and just do things as we do.
I give you an example. We have this is always happens in my clientele works. I also do lots of brand audits. So one of the most important term I give clients is, look, I am not in brand audit presentation. I am not loyal to the company. I mean, I'm not loyal to the people, but I'm loyal to the brand. So you're gonna hear me saying things that you will never like. So it is the harder truth, because I can always say that you have done a good job. But if I'm gonna come and tell you the truth, it's gonna be hard for me to say, but let me tell you, you need to change this because this is not working. This one, I saw a very bad loophole, and I think it has been not well managed, and this is my fact. So it is a hard truth. But some people can just say, no, it has been done well. I think, let's look into, they can always be diplomatically right. But I just want to make sure that we win. So in order for us to win, the hard truth has to be expressed.
Yeah.
So you may not like it, but in the long term, you will replace and you will come and appreciate me for doing that 10 years ago. And that's what I meant by this.
Yes, that's very true, because sometimes you don't like people giving hard feedback, critical feedback, but then when the actually that is the one which can improve us.
Like I told you earlier when we discussed about your upcoming book, which I'm eagerly expecting.
Yes.
Sometimes we have many people, they tend to work for the book rather than the book work.
Yeah.
So it's a truth that people don't want to hear.
I think that's a very thought-provoking something you said me as well, because I also want my book to work for me, but I don't know how. So I think we had a good discussion around that. And yeah, So then you form this branding agency right now, which works on this. There's a misunderstanding about or some myths about branding. I think a lot of people get it wrong, right? What are the biggest myths about brand?
Well, I think there are three things that people always misunderstand, or rather the myth of branding. Number one, they feel that branding is a marketing efforts that's going to drive you sales directly. That is not true. Branding is a long-term approach in building reputation. People will know you because of marketing, but people will choose you is because of branding. Number two, branding is a game of reputation. It's not about game of creativity.
Okay.
So sometimes we tend to invest a lot of money in designing something beautiful, but they don't create a meaningful approach to it. So no point having a beautiful design, but people have no clue what is it all. So that is second thing. So branding is not about design. It's about developing identity. And more importantly, branding is an act of positioning.
Yeah.
So people will remember you for something special. That would be the reason why they choose you. It's not branding, it's not about just a visibility. So people think when I do branding means I'm famous. No, it's not true. Branding is about you being known for the right thing.
Yeah.
So this three myth has to be, it's what I would always say, that people sometimes they have wrong expectations over the wrong things.
True.
Am I not confusing you?
No, you're not confusing me. But I mean, I think a lot of people are confused because they think whenever they think of branding, they want a nice logo, they want a good brand name, they want beautiful colors matching it. They go to a graphic designer, the brand is done. So you're saying it is more than that.
Of course.
And it's a long game, right? It's not a brand building cannot be like a short game. You can't do a brand within like a couple of months. Yeah.
Short-term campaigns are considered marketing. Long-term campaigns are considered branding.
So you should have a long-term view.
Yes.
And also, one thing which resonated with me very much was what Simon Sinek talks about, the why. So the why of a brand is more important than the how and what it does. Yeah. So how somebody can ensure that they get the why right?
Beautiful. I think Simon Sinek is one of my favorite guy. That guy is really fantastic. If I happen to see him one day, I'll hug him. I think the point is, brother, this is exactly why storytelling approaches are coming in, why a brand story is very important in any aspect of marketing. Because the purpose of what and how is what are the things that people are doing today. But only people buy or connect with you on long term when they know why are you doing it. So most of the time, people have no clue over the way they introduce themselves. And Simon Sinek has said this very beautifully. I don't want you to tell me what are you doing. I don't want you to tell me how are you doing it. These are marketing terms which I'm okay with it. But I want to know why are you doing it, because now I have a serious connection to it. I give you a classic example. I don't know whether you know this brand called Body Shop.
Yeah, I have heard it.
Body Shop is a vegetarian vegan brand. They do perfume, they do lots of things. People don't buy the product because they love to use the product, but they buy the product also because they want to support the product, because they are very environmental impact. So this is one of the classic examples of why they are doing it. So that makes a difference.
Yeah. So let me ask, why you are doing what you are doing?
Brother, I think first and foremost, I got two answers to it. Number one, I found my ikigai.
All right.
In the end of the day, I believe that 90% people in this world, they're very poor because they only have money.
Yeah.
So the 10% are equally happy.
That is another something very confusing. Some people is poor because they have money.
90% people in this world, they're very poor because they only have money. So which means richness has been wrongly defined.
Okay. That's interesting.
So money is not the only thing that's going to keep you to the top of our life. Money is part of it.
Okay.
So I believe Ikigai is trying to explain that very clearly. So if you think that you can monetize what
the Japanese term referred to as the reason for existence or reason for being.
The purpose.
Right? Yeah, the purpose.
So I think Ikigai talked about very important point. Number one, do you love what you do? Number two, is the one that you do is job. Are you very good at what you do? Number three, are you able to make money out of this thing? And number four, does it have a big demand in the market?
Yes.
If all these four comes together, your Ikigai is born. So I felt that my job I love what I do. Am I good at it? I'm
Yeah.
very confident what I do. Can I make money out of it? Yes.
Yeah.
Does it has a demand? Yes.
Yeah.
So that's my ikigai. Number two, why I love this entire job is because why do I choose this job? Because I feel because I love marketing, I understand what kind of impact a marketing can do in a brand's towards businesses.
Yeah.
So making changes and transforming something that I love and I do, and when it generates income, and I think that's a beautiful thing to do. I feel I am on leave during working hours, and I think I'm at work after working hours because I'm enjoying my job. So that's the reason.
So you don't feel like it's work when you're working on your ikigai. You don't feel
It's
like
a feeling that is so undescribable.
yeah. You feel. I think the feeling mostly for me when I do something which I truly love is at the end of the day it is kind of satisfaction.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you don't feel like you had a hard day at work. You feel like you had a great day at creating impact or doing something like that. Yeah.
You are right, brother. I think stress can be seen into two perspectives, isn't
Yeah.
it? One stress is dealing with the people, one stress is dealing with the problem. So I think we are always ready and energetic enough to deal with the problem. Sometimes
Yeah.
dealing with the people is what actually stresses out.
Yeah.
And we get confused with that.
Yeah. So, what is the other myth about branding other than the story?
There's a lot of things.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of people they are confusing in the investments of branding and
Are people reluctant to invest in
yes,
brand?
because today the world has changed because of the rise of digital marketing. I feel most of the people, professionals and marketers out there, they want to spend $1 and they want to see $5 immediately. That is marketing, that is sales, which is okay. But in a long-term run, what holds you stick together, I mean, what holds your customers to stick with you together is the reputations and the connections that you have. If I'm going to win you by selling, now I'm winning you because of the cost or any other factors that you have a bit more than your competitors. But there are many reasons why a customer don't mind giving you a second chance, even though you have made a mistake. And that is simply because of a relationship that you've built over the years through your customer experience, through your marketing strategies, through the festive emotions messages. That's the reason why they are so closely connected to you, which again they're willing to give you a chance.
Yeah.
And this process is building a bonded, trusted relationship between a customer and you, which beyond a transaction is what branding is all about.
Yeah, I remember something I studied in our college. One of the case studies about Johnson Johnson, something related to this one, right? One of their products didn't work very well. They have to pull out. Do you remember?
It happens all the time, brother. I think
but the customers came back again.
Yes, I think
Do you know any stories like that?
a lot.
Yeah.
I think it happens if you really see it back again. It happens almost all the time in every single brand. You don't need to even quote a big brand, brother. I think you can even see in hotel businesses there are many customers. In my opinion, you got three types of customers.
Yeah.
One, you have a good customer, I call it. They always have this a very healthy business transactions.
Yeah.
A client who doesn't pay on time are not a good customer. So we need to be right. So healthy. But when the moment they see a better offer, they run. There's another customer called happy customer. So they have a good transactions, very good healthy transaction, and they also like and share your content everywhere, give you good testimonies. But when the moment they get a better deal, they walk out. There's the last customer, very important customer. We call them the loyal customers. These are the people have healthy transaction. They share and advocate your brand, and they forgive you when you make a mistake. They give you a chance to fix it because I trust you more than your problems.
Okay.
You see, I trust you more than just what you have faced. So it's okay. I do not go and make a shout out there. Now, this is a client that if you see in businesses today, every client that we deal with, they have such customers. Or they always have good or happy customers. They doesn't put effort to make them loyal. The word loyalty program doesn't mean they are loyal. So that is the thing. So it's not just big customers. You probably have experienced certain brands that have offended you, but you gave them a chance. So I think this is exactly the branding I'm talking about. So it's a long-term approach.
Yeah. So apart from like branding, you also do speaking and training and few other things as well, right?
Yes.
So how does you pick those? Is it out of necessity or out of passion or out of you just discovered it over time?
Well, good.
Yeah.
I think during pandemic, advertising and marketing industries were supposed to be on the top, but because for some reasons we were also badly affected by the payment structures.
Yeah.
So I was a big victim under the circumstances of pandemic. And while we were trying to, and we had issues and we had turmoils as well, to recover certain issues, we had to look out for extra revenue stream. And that's when I made a decision of actually, why not I do a training first?
Yeah.
And my first day ever training was a branding, the brand marketing 2019. I conducted a public training, giving them a master class on what this branding is all about. And I had approximately 72 people attended that.
Mm-hmm.
For your information, I was not even a certified trainer back then.
Uh-huh.
So seeing that amazing results, and I see the opportunity of this revenue can be a good add-on to my business, I started training. And I had my mentor like Captain Ariva, many attended the training, paid attended the training, and eventually they guided me. And I saw that the greater point of being a greater trainer in branding. Again, it is not because I was a good trainer, it's because I had enough 10 years of experience dealing with over 400 brands. That experience has made me comfortable to be very expressively reflective trainer. I do lots of reflective sessions.
Yeah.
It became a good trainer thing. So as I grow there, and I must give the credit to MAPS, Malaysian Association of Professional Speakers. I think thanks to Captain Ariva and Bhavani, these are the people that somehow eventually got me into the whole zone. And I saw that, you know what, we have been speaking, and I think speaking can be also another income revenue generator. Equally can make a big impact. So I thought, why not we do this? So I got myself into the speaking zone today.
Yeah.
And yes, I think we met ourselves, each other somewhere in India as well. Right?
Yeah, last
So,
speaker summit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing which really resonated with me, and one thing I remember from your speech back in India, is also the passion you have for that. The talking about that topic, and then how does that passion comes? Is it something to do with, you already mentioned, because when you are talking about, you are very passionate about advertisements, so this topic might be very good for you, or are you generally a passionate person in whatever you do?
I think when I told you that I'm a huge fan of Praveen Shekhar, it's because of the energy that he carries, isn't it? Honestly, I feel I am always energetic at my work. It has been a nature in my genes because I'm a father of a man I'm a son of a man who has always been energetic, even though he's a taxi man. So I think I carry that inspiration from him, and loving what I do gives me more energy. And I think on stages, I'm no champion, but there are many many speakers, they are one topic heroes.
Yeah.
They craft it like what Trudy have said, they craft it and they do a masterpiece using it. And there's another set of speakers. We focus on crafting something special for every stages.
Yeah.
And I'm going on that zone.
Yeah.
So when
I
you
think I'm also more of that zone.
so when I do that, I get excited crafting it, preparing it, and when I come there, I'm giving something big. So I feel excited. So and I think I know that right after the session, I will be extremely tired. But on that stage, but I think that's a blessing that I learned from all the senior speakers and stuff. I love what I do, brother. I think that makes me excited.
PK, now you mentioned already that the organizations should have their why, and why is what builds actually the brand. How important it is for individuals also to have find their purpose?
It reflects over two components.
Yeah.
And for the employees market, I always advocate this thing called the employer brand. If an organization that doesn't have a culture, it doesn't have a value proposition that they show people why are we doing this together, now that organization's motivation, inspiration to work is very low. It has to be very clear about it. And on the other side, individuals who are into the entrepreneurship, the lone ranger, the solopreneurs, I think your personal brand is important. If people have no clue who you are and what do you stand for, now whatever that you're trying to sell, it doesn't go very far.
So talking about it, like how you also mentioned that branding is all about reputation, right? So individuals also have to create their own reputation, and they have to stay in one line. So at today's world, creating reputation is one way is all about social media presence. Do you think it is important?
Extremely important. It is no longer a need, but it is a must. So no point having visibility is the most important strategy that we should have first before being reputable. No point being reputable, but nobody knows you, right? So that's the difference. I would always term it as being popular and being famous are two different things. Being famous are something where people who don't know you, people who should know you, knows you for who you are. So you have a controlled audience. As popularity means people who don't have to know you knows you as well.
Yes.
So that's the difference. So some people, they are very famous within the industry, within the scope that they want people to know. That's about it. So they can still enjoy a private life. Another person, they became extreme celebrities.
Yeah.
So thought leaders and celebrities, these are the differences. So in that case, visibility plays a very powerful role. And social media is a tool that can make your life better. If you can put a content that is relevant for people to have a perception. So we sometimes oversay things that people don't want to know. That's the reality of life. Yes. I believe that 80% people in this world, they have no time for our problems.
Yeah.
The balance 20%, they're glad you have the problems. So talking about problems, talking about irrelevant things on social media may not be an ideal thing. You can share, you can always share, but I think optimizing social media for your visibility purposes for the right reason that you wish to be known for, branding is important. So yes, social media is important.
I think that is the key, right? Because you just mentioned the thing that others want you want to be known for. Yeah. So that is like, for example, you want to be known as a market branding guru, branding person. I want to be known as a professional speaker, for example. So how important? How I think a lot of professionals even don't know what they want others to be them to known for, right? How they can find it?
Simple. Firstly, they got to decide what they want to be known for,
Yeah.
which is what exactly the brand positioning is all about.
Yes.
Secondly, how do I make sure that people know me is by the content that you demonstrate.
Yeah.
And more importantly, how do you measure the metrics of whether people know me for the right thing that I want them to know for?
Yeah.
Is through their testimonies, through their feedback forms, through their surveys. These are the very direct and indirect methods of you finding out whether are people really remembering you. For example, on LinkedIn, sometimes I'd always say this: if you receive invitations and views from people who's not relevant to your industry, that means you're selling the wrong thing.
Yes.
Equally, if you've been accepting acknowledgments and recognitions from methods that doesn't focuses on what you want to be known for. For example, I used to be very active in vegetarian society. I was active in many other societies. If people gives me a recognition, even as an entrepreneur's award, I think I don't deserve it and I don't want it, because I don't want to be known as a brand an entrepreneur. But if you give me a recognition on a brand strategies or this kind of relevant thing, I will be a little interested to look into how reputable it is. So those are the things that you got to be very stern and clear.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be wanting to be recognized for something else all the time, which goes you, like I told you, that sometimes when you become an MC for the sake of giving a favor, but ending up being known for it only. I remember one of my old friend during my schooling days, my school childhood friend, when he got married 20 years ago, and he requested, PK, you must be the MC for the whole dinner. And brother, I think I was the MC. In fact, the whole family was talking about it for years. That this guy was a good MC. Maybe we should call him for the next wedding. So you see, that's the day I told myself I'll never become an MC anymore, because I might eventually sell things wrongly if I don't know how to bring people back to the right perception. If you do something, you better make sure that people acknowledge you for actual you are. So that's when the how you play the tactics of making sure that your actual positioning is not affected. So yes, so I think
there are other people now, especially youngsters among nowadays, what we call the gig economy, right? They do this, they do that, they want to do this. How important that is actually to be known for one thing, or is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
I think as much as these talented people can so-called do multitasking, but I think it's equivalent to disaster as well. Jack of all trade doesn't make money anymore.
Yeah.
See, you got a jack of one trade makes more money. So you can always have multiple source of works, but you may be very, very particular about one thing that you rightfully take first. And then eventually, once these people know you for this particular A positioning first, then you somehow or other upsell the rest later.
Yeah.
So you build a reputation with the first things first. Then you go with other things that you do. But if you go and tell people I do everything, for example, you're a speaker. If you come and tell me that you speak for HR, now I got some sort of understanding on what you sell. But if you come and tell me, by the way, PK, I don't just talk about HR, I talk about engineering, I talk about financing, I talk about marketing, I talk about branding, I talk about life, I talk about death. Now, what am I supposed to remember you for?
Yes.
So you will not be remembered anymore, especially in the world of marketing today.
Yes.
So being remembered for one core thing is the first blueprint that gets you to enter the zone of being chosen. Then eventually, by the way, you like my topics. If you need me to talk on leadership, it's still within my game, but it's not my core. So that is safer, not advisable, safer than saying I can do everything.
Yeah.
Like I recently said on social media, everything equals to nothing. Everywhere equals to nowhere. Everybody equals to nobody.
Yeah. And your this quote, the future lies in what your brand reputation rather than your creative promotion ideas. What do you mean by that?
You see, anybody can bring in ideas, creative stuffs and things. But if you cannot have, there's always a different impact from a very powerful leader saying something versus somebody who has nothing down there saying something. There's a big difference between a very well-known, recognized figure putting something versus somebody who is very young. Just because he's famous, he says something. So being popular is just not enough. If you say something that people would want to listen, they want to hear. That's why critics were very powerful once upon a time.
Yes.
Because when I say something, it is very structured and you are very, very reputable and recognized for who you are. Because so when you say something, I really listen.
Yeah.
The influencership is gained because of reputation. So no point having such a popular thing. You can be very easily popular by jumping from a third floor. But to earn a very good respect is not easy. That's what I'm talking about, reputation. So building your reputation is something that is funky. I give you a classic example, brother. Yeah. I've seen many doctors today in so many social medias. They are either giving a great amount of educational advice, health tips, thought-provoking matters, which builds your reputation. Yeah. Versus there are doctors I also see in many countries, together with their nurse, they're making a dance.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they're trying to prove. Now, they can be popular, even more popular than the reputable one. But do I trust you or do I trust the reputable one?
The dancing doctor or
both? Dance, the doctors and the nurses. So I don't know. I mean, I agree with your strategy of being visible. Maybe they might have, I don't condemn this strategy. I just want to let you know. But in my opinion, there are certain professions require a seriousness in the way how you build your image.
Yeah.
And in that sense, having a visibility attraction by putting this dance, you are an entertainment content on social media. But do I want to call you because I'm not feeling well? No way.
Yeah, when you said that, actually, a couple of decades back when we were growing up, we used to hear that there's a quote many people used to say, any reputation is a good reputation. Do you agree with that?
No. Any reputation equals to reputation.
Also, rather, any PR is a good PR.
That is called visibility.
Yeah.
I think that you should read the book 22 Laws of Advertising. I think they talk about this. And I think one of the most important thing is every PR, every marketing is a good marketing. It's not true. I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think you got to have selective marketing and you got to choose your channels right. It may be true once upon a time when the traditional mediums were involved, but today is in the world of social media, digital world. If you're fairly famous on Tinder, do you think it's a good publicity? Tell me. It's equivalent to you're fairly famous on LinkedIn, right? So it may not be that way. You got to be so sensitive on who exactly is your audience.
Yeah.
And if your audiences are, and more importantly, their actual intentions of being part of certain audiences, certain platforms. Because if I'm not in the mood to listen to you, no matter how you come in front of me, I'm not going to listen to you. So selectively choosing your right platform, right messaging, right timing is something that makes it more impactful. So I disagree with the statement that every PR is a good PR.
Yeah.
See? Exactly.
Harder right? Now, when we are trying to build, our reputation and or our brand, we have to, of course, we talk about that. It has to be anchored into a purpose, the why, and then you have to be passionate about it. Then the other question is, like, for example, how important is actually to have a growth strategy around this? Because whether it is an organization or whether it is a person, whether it is a brand, it has to grow, right? Otherwise, there's no point of doing all the work. So, how important it is?
I think what you're asking is growing a brand, is it important or not? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, the growth of the brand, like the brand has to bring in something, right? Whether it is a personal brand or whether it is a company brand, yeah, it has to grow, right? It has to reach out to more people. It has to, it has to grow within, right?
I think it's very subjective to the objective. Some people, their objective is now to support back the growth of the society. So they focus in giving away something in the name of giving back, but I don't need such a high visibility for it. Some people, they need visibility highly because they want to earn income out of it. Some people, they go for a growth which is defined in a manner of the more followers I have, the more leverage I have in terms of communicating with people in any sort of things. So it's very subjected on what is objective. But in general, growth is a must have in anything that we do. Even your spiritualism, even in your life, even in your health, even in your happiness, it has to be a growth. I think so. So yes, it is vital in marketing because the more people know you, because now in the world of digital, yes, if you ask 20 years ago, you probably can count how many speakers we have in the town.
Yes.
Today, you can see a speaker in every single corner of the building. Right? You see, because the competition is high, because of the easiness, the access of being exposed through the digital world is extremely optimized.
Yeah.
So you have competitions. So one of the only way that you beat and be on the par of every competitors is staying visible. So visibility and growth visibility is equally important.
Yeah. So that's a very, very important point you touch base this now. For example, in the world of AI, today knowledge is abundant, right? Where the accessibility to the knowledge is also abundant. But how can we ensure that we are relevant? I think that is more important.
This
right?
is exactly the point of reputation and branding comes in place. AI is growing, but slowly we don't realize that we are demonstrating what AI can do and we are undermining audiences today because those who are listening, they're silently listening. The new generation, Gen Z especially, this is a generation that the more they don't talk to you, the more they like you. So they will not ask you questions. They may not be responding to questions, but they are silent watchers. They watch you silently. Now the point is secreted admirers. So now the point is they know what is fake content and authentic content. We think they don't know. So to the speakers, to the trainers, to the entrepreneurs out there, I think be very real and keep your way of sending messages consistently right and be as authentic as possible because people don't mind you being not perfect, but people would definitely mind if you are actually fake.
You be a copy.
Yes. So to those who use AI, my message is using AI to think is fine, but don't let AI to think.
What do you mean by?
See, optimizing AI to think or using AI to think is okay,
Basically,
but
to trigger your thinking.
that's fine. Because let me tell you what's the problem. Many people are using AI to think is fine, but they are letting AI to think for them. Now that's a problem. For example, I have a mission. I want to do this. I give you my point. These are the pointers that I think. What is your thing? So you have a conversation with AI and getting some very good feedbacks and brainstorming it and then coming out something beautiful and letting AI to just put it back into a proper words. It's fine. Some people they ask you a question, gets the answers from AI, they publish it straight. I've seen this happening many times. One of my very old friend also was once my client. They recently was caught in a conference because he actually quoted something on social media which was quite good. But when they asked him the questions, quoting you back 2 months ago, you said this on social media on LinkedIn. Can you please elaborate? He was blur because it was not his message. Exactly. So this is exactly I'm talking about. Letting AI to think for you, now you're in trouble. If you think using AI, you are the safe zone.
That's very important, right? Yeah. So what do you do to keep your, because you are now training, you are speaking, you are also consultant. So how you keep yourself updated and make sure you keep growing? What do you do intentionally do to make sure you grow?
I practice three things, brother. I am very close to my competitors, my fellow industry friends. So we are always in communications with everything. We have few groups in marketing and branding groups across all over the world that we share good things, only positive things, only positive sharings. I do attend to many webinars. I spend time on webinars, podcasts. I also subscribe myself to most of the top brand newsletters, marketing newsletters, publications. I do this. I silently invest time on that.
Yeah.
Of course, brother, reading a book is never a wrong thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do that habit and I do that. Of course, nowadays I don't have time to go for classes, but I think this is where people like you through podcasts,
Yeah.
you make a difference by giving us an easier way of learning things.
Yes.
So we do that. I think until the day you're passionate, because I think that's one of the magics of passion, being passionate, because it teaches you not to give up. You see, and this is how I do it.
Yeah, I think that comes to how actually it resonates with the topic which I'm working on, which is like being relevant, being updated, and playing the long game, right? That is very important actually when it comes to this is what I call becoming unretirable. So for you, what does retirement means?
Retirement means still will be able to do what you wish to do,
Yeah.
and and I think my definition of retirement has changed actually.
Yes.
I think for many years my retirement plan was actually to do business, but ever since after starting business and ever since after going through so much of challenges in life, pandemic, businesses, this and that, life teach me that look, whatever said and done, a work is just a work. But what is your retirement plan is from what you have gained over these 20 years of business and life, if you can turn that around and to generate something passive that can allow you to have more time for yourself to do what you love to do, can be spiritual, can be business, can be speaking, whatever it is. If you can, it can give you a financial freedom, secure lifestyle.
Yeah.
Now that is considered retirement.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm working towards that.
Yeah, that's very very important, and there's a term also in the retirement industry and the finance industry. We call it the FIRE, financial independent retire early. So this has been something which is pushed towards people, especially after the knowledge economy. People want to get rich fast, so that they want to do whatever they want. But the problem is many people don't know what they want after retirement, isn't it? So how important that is to actually knowing what you want to do for the rest of your life. How can somebody actually understand that?
It's a question that no answer. But the solution to it is
Yes.
this is what I do. I got three mentors in my life.
Okay.
One is I would say four. One, I have my training and speaking mentor. Whenever I have any directional issues, I have confusions, I call these people to seek an advice. And they always give me a good, it's not easy to find them, but if you connect with them, it happens.
Yeah.
I have a mentor for my business. So any business decisions I make, I normally go and seek his advice.
Yeah.
I have another mentor for my industry. Anything to do with branding, business, moving forward, doing something more from the industry is what I go for them. And last but not the least, I got another mentor for my life, spiritual life. So if you have any issues in a spiritual life, you go to them. So I don't have one person can do all the work.
Yeah.
So I think people who have no clue what they want in the future should first find a mentor, because they will somehow or other can guide you to get what you want. For the past 5 years, these people has been the demigods in my life.
Yeah, I think mentors are quite important and helps as well, and I have personally benefited from mentors as well, because actually one of the things which I started talking about 6 years back was about growth mindset, because I found a lot of people get stuck into this fixed mindset partway into their career, and then now actually this is why I'm saying now even becoming unretirable is a mindset. It's a way of thinking. Actually, mindset is, in other terms, a way of thinking. So how you actually shape that thinking is very important, right? So getting mentors is one of the ways I'm sure that people can actually sharpen their thinking. So for the young people, especially the new generation which is coming up, how important, because this retirement is something which came after the industrial revolution, right? But now many young people will start wanting to live like people of our generation would love to live in their retirement. Even from day one, they want to live the retired
They
life.
work like they're retired.
Yes, isn't it? They want to do what they love and things like that. So, how important it is for them to think about, building that over time. I think that is something we are losing at the moment, building that over time rather than doing this today, that tomorrow, the gig economy. So, how important that is actually to build it over time, but have that long-term goal of doing what you love to do. And then some people might challenge me and ask if I can do what I love to do now. Yeah, fair, good enough. But how important that is to build that over time.
I would firstly say that I think it's because this is my perspective. You are a master in this. I feel the way how we have defined retirement has been always been wrong. It has been seen from the financial perspective, even until today. See, we are from the generation that feels after retirement, so-called after retirement, that we feel that it's never too late to do the right thing, market. So we feel like Colonel Sanders, like the KFCs. It's okay. I'm 87 years old, 89 years old, doesn't matter. It's never too late to do the right thing. So we are brought from the context of such mindset because our level of exposure was different. But today's youth are different. They've always been exposed to the whole world from the day they were born.
Yeah.
See, so the mindsets are different. You don't have, if you want to change job during our time, when the boss calls you, you are unhappy, you go and find a job through a newspaper. By the time the whole process takes place, you have bonded back again with your boss and you forget about it. But today it's not the other way around. The moment you scold me, the next moment you see on his LinkedIn, he changes his profile to open to work. So I think the definition has changed, the exposure level has changed. So I have this opinion, I always been saying that today's youth are not useless, but they're used less. So if you're not being optimized, now this is a problem. So for them, why do I need to wait until 55 years old or 60 years old to retire and then enjoy life? When everything around me is so accessible, I can be a millionaire at the age of now because if I can just turn the table around, become an influencer, I can make money. So they see these options all the way in front of the doors. We never had that. I think if we had the same thing, it would have been the same thing.
Is it?
So the pattern has changed. The world has changed. So I think.
So what you're saying is it's not a must now.
I feel
like 30 years of career.
Back to my point, brother. I think it is what we define retirement is. If it is financial freedom or freedom of spending money alone without being under the pressure, now this generation says, I don't need a pressure. I don't mind just doing some work that I love, and this is how I live because I know how to find money. Versus our revenue streams were very controlled. So I think that's the change of gap. Change of pattern. So I think the definition of retirement has been looked into a perspective that is no longer the perspective that younger generation does anymore.
That's a quite thought-provoking thing, which I also haven't deeply thought about actually relating to retirement. So you are saying that then the next generation people will not actually be thinking of retirement because they are living the life they want to live even from day one. Yeah, whereas
they do not compromise attentions that they don't want to get. They give high importance. If I deal with many youngsters today, I think the great things about them is I feel they are not willing to be treated wrongly. They expect transparency. They expect respect. And if you don't give that, you don't get it back. Just don't think you can buy me with money. That's the generation of today.
Yeah.
And more importantly, that is what I told them. There was one time recently I had a session with a group of students. I told them that, what do you think that's different between you and the older generations? Sir, today we have all technologies. We are master in technology. We can make the system work with us. I say, very true. But let me tell you also, the day you can show that the system can do what you can do, I don't need you anymore. So there is one thing that we, the older generation, have, is we call it the wisdom, the applied knowledge, being wise. So there will be a generation where the next time people will wanting us back.
Yeah.
So now that is secondary. But the point is, today's generations, the demand that they have in life is different. I don't need savings. I don't need luxury.
I don't need to owe things.
I don't need to go through this. Do I really need to work with you?
Yeah,
I, you know,
because our parents used to tell us, save, buy a house, then buy a car,
we
like
were
that.
from the
But
background. We get the money, we
yeah,
save money first, we spend the rest. Here we spend the rest, and then we talk about saving later.
yeah,
So I think the living patterns are changing.
change. Yeah,
Everything is
true,
changing.
true, true. Even with respect to owning things, right? For example, they don't need a house because they can rent a house. They don't need a car because Grab and Uber and all these things are there, which we didn't had the luxury of it and enjoying back then, right? So one word you mentioned, which is also the name of my podcast, which is Waves of Wisdom. And you mentioned that the older generation have this wisdom. Now, this is something also I'm collecting, PK, at the moment, but through my interviews, is one of the questions I ask from all my guests is, what is that one wisdom you have heard from the previous generation or you have acquired through your experience, which you like to pass on to the next generation?
I think you need to master two very powerful words in
Yeah.
life, which is sorry and thank you.
Why it is?
Because at any point of situation in life, whether you're happy or the lowest moment in life, these two words can actually help you.
Yeah.
These two words plays a very powerful role in any work that you do in the name of branding reputation. This is the two powerful words that have been often not being used because of being egoistic.
Yeah. Okay.
See, we allow emotions to control us from not using these two words. I think if we know how to use these words, life will bring you to the next level. Sometimes we say sorry not because we are wrong, but we appreciate the relationship more than the problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes we say thank you because there is one thing that can be more powerful than there's one thing that can be more painful than death. That is when you're being forgotten.
Yes.
So saying thank you to someone can mean nothing to you, but it can go miles away to the other
Yeah.
person.
So it can mean the world for them.
So it is not an expensive word, rather it's a priceless word.
Yeah.
If you master how to use this, I think life will be very much more powerful.
Wonderful. Is there anything else with related to your work or something you like to share with our audience?
Say no to fake news, say no to character assassinations. I think one of the biggest things that is shaping the world to a better place is we can stop spreading wrong news, analyze. I think one of the biggest problem in life today is gossiping.
Yeah.
We always have more things to say negatively about someone. And being in the business of branding, being in the business of personal branding, I coach many leaders, I coach many politicians, I coach many athletes. One thing that we feel that is bringing all of us down is the word called character assassination, brand assassination. So, from my experience professionally, I think if we can make sure we do not put efforts in assassinating a brand or a personal brand, that is the greatest gift you can ever have to sleep peacefully.
Yeah. Great advice. And thank you very much, PK, for joining this podcast.
My
It has been
pleasure.
a chat. I'm sure we can go on for hours about this deep dive into this topic, but we don't have much time today. So maybe on another occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. And for my viewers and listeners, until we come back again, remember the words of wisdoms which PK has given us today. Don't forget to say sorry and thank you. So before I forget, thank you for listening to this episode and don't forget to be unretirable. Thank you.